You enjoy paper copy of the agenda here? No, well, if we have, I have an extra. Thank you. Yeah. I need a couple.
Okay. We good?
Yes, we are now. Go right ahead.
Perfect. So I will call to order the Human Rights Commission's Process Task Force. It is 5:04 on Monday, November 25th. And we'll start with a round of introductions. I am Ilana Lin. I'm a member of this commission and chair of this task force. I also use they, them pronouns. And we'll start that off on Zoom, then kick it over to the room. So Kelsey, why don't you take it away?
Hello, my name is Kelsey Murray. I use she, her pronouns, and I am a member of this commission, and I will popcorn to Joaquin.
Hi all, can you hear me? Yes. I'm calling by phone from Mexico, so and family is as they should be enjoying themselves over here. So if the noise is too much, please let me know. My name is Joaquin, and I guess for the first time, I'm introducing myself as the chair of the Human Rights Commission and a member of this task force. So it's good to be with you all, albeit virtually. To the room, right, Ilana?
Mhm.
Okay. Is that Kira over there? Kira, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, it is. Hey everyone, I am Kira. I am a member of the commission and a member of the task force. I use she, her pronouns.
Hello everybody, my name is Robert Marshall. I use he, him pronouns. I am the vice chair of the Human Rights Commission and a member of this task force.
Very good. My name is Gretchen Bennett. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the staff liaison to the task force and the commission.
Wonderful. Thank you everyone for being here. Did we receive any public comment or is there anyone in the room?
No one in the room and none received.
Okay, perfect. Well, then I will move on to the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda and the minutes?
Motion to approve the consent calendar.
Okay, seconded by Kelsey. All in favor, aye, or thumbs up? Great. Any opposed? Perfect. And then I was just wondering if, Gretchen, would you be able to start with the city standardized bylaws and then we'll discuss the draft procedures?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to. Those are in concept. I'm not sure if in full attachment. Going to the city council at their meeting next Monday, December 2nd. The consultants bringing an overall report on their work on governance, including the idea of a set of standardized bylaws. And there is a draft completed. I'm not clear on exactly if that would be included, but they're bringing that updated information to December 2nd's council meeting. And then after that, assuming council has if they have objection, then it would pause. But if not, then those will become available for the commissions. So I should have those next week, potentially.
And there's still nothing in there that you think would impact the work that's currently being done by this task force, right?
Correct. I didn't see anything incongruent from my review.
Perfect. Does anyone have questions about this? No? Okay. Great. Then we will move on to reviewing the draft procedures. I will start with the ones that I drafted.
Would you like to share your screen, or would you like me to try to do that?
I can share my screen.
Right.
Perfect. Okay. So let me just make this a little bit bigger. Does that look good for everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. So I drafted the criteria for special meetings based on what we had discussed. So first I realized we probably have to define what a normal meeting would be. So I just said general meetings, which we can edit the name of. The HRC meets monthly to discuss various topics that have been identified by the commission and the leadership. These meetings have multiple topics and a dedicated public comment period. Do we feel like this is a good, level set in for what our usual meetings are. Would you add anything, take anything away? Okay. I'll move on to special meetings. If anything comes up, just raise a hand or let me know in some way. For special meetings, at the discretion of the commission and leadership, the HRC might host meetings where the main objective is public engagement. These meetings could take the place of the general monthly meeting or be scheduled separately. The meetings will have a focus on one topic. A majority of the meeting will be dedicated to public comment. The HRC has developed a specific set of procedures for these meetings. Yes, Joaquin.
Gosh, it's working for me on the phone. I'm getting really good at this online raising hand thing. Yeah, so I missed the last meeting, but I did. Did you guys get a chance to reviewing the pitch that I made about this topic, the distinguishing of the two things? I can't see anybody.
Yes,
people-
we
okay.
did.
So my question is, I mean, I don't disagree with it, but I just wanted to get some background on the objective of public engagement. I'm just wondering if there are other objectives that could occur. Again, I can't think of any, but since we are painting with a broad brush here, I'm wondering if there's other language we want to have, or if not, then that's fine too. I'm just asking the question. What was the conversation around that language, I guess?
Yeah, I can't recall specific conversations. Apologies. It's been a long couple of weeks. Let me here. I'm going to stop sharing for 1 minute to see if I can find your comments to share those or add them.
While Ilana is doing that, I can recap, Joaquin, that I think Ilana read aloud the document. We were pausing and talking about it. And to your point, there could theoretically be other purposes. Maybe.
Could it be like a purpose of the a purpose determined by the commission and leadership? We word it that way instead.
I like that thought, Kara. Hold on to it. Joaquin, is your hand still raised or is that a new hand?
No, I guess I'm not as good as I thought I was. So a purpose raised by the commission sounds fine to me. So is public engagement for that matter. I didn't mean to say it was wrong. I'm just was curious.
Cool. I couldn't find it quickly, but I do like the so where the main objective is with what do we think of this? At the discretion of the commission and leadership, the HRC might host meetings with one main objective as identified by the commission. As public comment, public engagement. Okay, I just added to then such as public engagement. Thoughts, feelings. Okay, do we like calling it special meetings? I also considered other things like public engagement meetings or.
Gretchen, remind me, was there an issue with us calling it special meetings? Because like those special meetings can only be called by specific people. I know we talked about it, but I don't remember what your answer was. I'm sorry.
I feel like it was that we just can't call them executive meetings.
Right, that's the term that's coming. I know executive sessions mean something specific. Work session means something specific. A special meeting, I'm not aware of.
Okay.
If you're thinking that maybe I did have something in mind with the word special last time, I can go back. We have gotten some feedback on the word special in relation to accommodation. Some good public feedback that an ADA accommodation is not special and so shouldn't be referenced special accommodation in that context, but
Right.
I'm not recalling the term special meeting as having anything unique.
Okay. I couldn't remember if, I'll come back to that. Let me
Okay.
look it up.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
We could also maybe say specialty meetings. Joaquin, what's up?
Thank you. I'll just expand on what I call, why I call them special meetings. One, that's a commonly used term in governance, so people know what that means, or at least have heard of it or are familiar with it. And two, while it's maybe not as defined as executive session, or not as well defined as executive session, special meeting kind of denotes unusualness, uniqueness, non-routineness, but is also vague to the point of being encompassing. So it could mean anything, you know. So the worry with something like a public engagement meeting or something more specific is that, well, if something we want to do that's special and different doesn't fall within that camp, then it has to be something else. And so I don't know. It doesn't have to be special, but it has to be, I think, a word that is encompassing both of the kind of unusual or non-routine nature of the meeting, while also not limiting the sort of conversation type of meeting that we can have. If that makes sense.
I guess what I was getting at is that, like, if you call it a special meeting, then it falls under a special meeting in the public meeting law, which means that it falls under a specific notice. And it falls under the fact that you can only talk about exactly what's on the agenda and things like that. And
Thank
so
you.
that's kind of what I was getting at, is that it closes our ability to, like, say we get there and we're like, we want to broaden into a different topic or add something to the agenda, you can't do that.
Thank you, Kira. That's
Yeah.
important and helpful.
So that was my, sorry.
Good job.
Like,
No, you know
I was like,
that-
maybe I'm not saying this well.
No, you know that better than me. Thank you. That didn't trigger for me, and I'm glad it did for you. That's
Yeah.
really helpful.
I've been in between bylaws and public meeting, and so I was trying to figure out which one was which.
Okay, okay, no, not sorry. That's important feedback. So I guess we'd have to consider if that's the word that you're intending, and then I'd also want to run that through our legal team and
Just in case.
just
yeah.
in case to see if they had any feedback for us. It's like, here's what we're meaning with a special meeting.
Is there any existing public meeting laws called specialty meetings? Like if we just add a T to it, can we make it separate?
There's not, as far as I know. I don't,
Okay.
that would still fall under a special meeting. I mean, that would be like a legal counsel thing.
What are the rule differences of the special meeting as opposed to like the special meeting, public meeting rules?
Hold on, I will flip back up.
I might be able to Google that so we can all see actually.
So, there's different notices required, meaning that it can't be, let's see, it shall not be held without at least 24 hours notice, which obviously we wouldn't do that anyway. And it goes through the same public meeting notice as per usual. Hold on.
Can everyone see my screen? Still, I'm on the special meetings definition.
Oh, yes, thank you. Kira, is this what you're looking at? too?
No, I'm actually looking at ORS 192, like all of those public meeting laws. I think it's 610 through 705.
I think that is what this is. This is just on the Attorney General's website instead of SOS.
Gotcha. I really think that those are the only two things, is the fact that you can't branch into a different topic. It has to be what's on the agenda, I think. And then the notice.
That notice requirement does exist now for us with our traditional meetings.
Yeah, so it's not any
So
different.
that's not different.
Yeah,
but
it
the
would just be
adding
the-
of an agenda item,
Yeah.
I don't know
really,
about.
and really, like, again, I would have to go back through here because I've been looking at both bylaws and this, and so you know.
Yeah.
No.
I do.
I personally would like the stipulation of not being able to depart from the agenda. That isn't a problem for me.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same, that
Not really a
like
bad,
requiring us to stick to one topic might actually make it easier for things to not get out of hand.
Yeah, we could say it's required by law. Sorry, or whatever. That's kind of flippant, I know, but I like that.
Gretchen, would you be willing to just talk to legal counsel and see if they have any apprehension about us using the word special meeting?
I'm happy to do that.
Okay. We will come back to that then. Okay.
That was helpful.
Okay. And then we started going over this in the last meeting, but I believe that that was only Kelsey, Robert, and I. So with some fresh eyes, I'm just going to go back over it again. So this is for our meeting introduction and grounding. So this is basically what would be said at the start of meetings. So the chairperson should introduce all meetings using the following script to ensure consistency across the commission. Once the script is read, the chairperson can add more details as needed. So for a general meeting, it would say, I am calling the meeting of whatever to order. The date is and the time is. We would like to welcome everyone to this meeting. The commission prioritizes public comment. We welcome the public to join our discussion. We also have a designated public comment period at time and agenda when the public can share openly for up to 3 minutes. To ensure everyone gets a chance to speak, we ask that the public raise their hand and if they would like to add to the discussion, of an agenda item. I tried to keep this very broad to allow for the discussions that we like to have without putting any limits on it. We did debate last time the amount that we should say for public comment. We decided 3 minutes seemed fair. Any feedback on this first introduction?
I like it. I think it sounds good.
Okay. Just gonna move on to the second one, but if something comes up, feel free to let me know. So for special meetings, I'm calling the meeting of whatever to order, the date is and the time is. I would like to welcome everyone to this meeting. The commission prioritizes public comment. We have a designated public comment period at time and agenda where the public can share openly for 3 minutes. To ensure everyone gets a chance to speak, please ensure you are registered for public comment if you wish to speak. If you have not registered yet, please indicate on the sign-up sheet located in wherever that you would like to speak. Virtual attendees, please raise your hand during the public comment period. Virtual attendees, please do not lower your hand until you have spoken to keep track of your place and order. And so the discussion we had around this was, what do we do for the people who didn't register to sign up ahead of time? Because Gretchen will have that list already printed of all the people who reached out before the meeting. So that would be the priority list that would go first. And then the in-person list, you would be able to sign up within the first couple of minutes of the meeting starting. And then virtual attendees, we would keep track of by the way that Zoom keeps track of people who have raised their hand. So it goes, the first would be in the top left corner and the last would continue on the line. We hadn't decided how we would alternate between virtual and in person yet. I think that that is a different procedure for us to discuss. But is there any comment on this introduction?
I drafted the bouncing between in person and Zoom. Just, I don't know if we talked about that, but I drafted that. So
Let me pull that up too, just so we can reference it. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yes, so this is our sign up procedure that Kelsey drafted. It just explains what I just talked about of like if you're in person, you can sign up ahead of time or the sign-in sheet. That's the chair's discretion for past the original sign up sheet. And then Zoom, same thing, just raise the hands. Okay. So the chair will designate a commissioner to facilitate the online meeting space. This commission will be responsible for calling on individuals in speak in order, keep in time for online public comments, and mute in individuals when appropriate. Public comment will alternate every 3 speakers between virtual and in the room attendees, beginning with virtual attendees. So that is how it would work to go along with my introduction paragraph. How are we feeling?
Can you say that one more time? You wanted that we'll start with virtual and then
Yeah.
swap back and forth?
Yeah, so it will be 3 people on virtual, 3 people in person, 3 people on virtual, 3 people in person.
And those are people that have already signed up correctly, or
Yeah.
correct, sorry, correctly, I can't talk. Okay.
Yeah, so the people who signed up before the meeting started will be given priority, and then it will be the chair's discretion to go through the non-signed up individuals.
So for those who signed up previously and are online, are we gonna specify that they should not raise their hands, that they'll be called upon, like on the sheet or something?
Mm-hmm. Because they don't tell us if they're going to be in person or virtual when they pre-sign up, right, Gretchen?
Well, at city council, people pre-register for Zoom or show up in person. I think we could request it, but we'd have to be prepared for changes and plans.
Yeah, I think then, Joaquin, do you have something to share on this topic?
I have a question just around, but can you hear me? I'm checking in again. Can you hear me? It's gotten precipitously louder, appreciably louder, which I love. Just want to make sure, for clarity's sake. So walk me through, Ilana, how this works. So when you say signing up in advance, you mean what? You mean that spiel you give in the beginning, they sign up and that's in advance, or what do you mean by that?
There is a process already where people can
Right.
reach to Gretchen before the meeting and say, I would like to give public comment.
Right. And so then my question becomes, do we modify that spiel? Because if it's at the discretion of the chair whether to allow for folks who haven't signed up in advance to give public comment, whether online or in person, I think that should be stated, because I have a feeling folks are going to come to the meeting with the expectation that they will be able to give public comment, irrespective of whether they have signed up in advance or not. And I think for most people, who, especially those who have experienced city council in-person testimony, their experience of that is, I walk in, I sign up, they call on me with my agenda items up for comment. And so, is that right, Gretchen? I want to check in, I'm not making that up. That's been my experience of city council.
Correct.
So then if we're stipulating that the chairperson has the discretion whether to allow public comment for those who have not signed up in advance, I think that does 2 things. I think one, it biases people who have signed up online, since I have a feeling folks who signed up online will have taken advantage of that pre-meeting sign-up process, whereas folks who sign up in person won't. And 2, I think it biases against folks who have the expectation of signing up in person when they arrive at the meeting. So that, to me, leads me to think that we give folks the opportunity to sign up when they walk in, or at the beginning of a meeting. And if you have not signed up by the time the public comment period has come up, that's a different question. So I think the order of events is off. I think the spiel about discretion of the chair comes in when we arrive at public comment, as opposed to the top of the meeting. Because people need to have the opportunity to do what I think they expect to do, which is to sign up at the top of the meeting or before the meeting or at the beginning, those few early minutes of the meeting. I think that's reasonable.
Okay, so then the change would be in the draft procedures that Kelsey did on how the priority is established then, right? Because I don't see how the speech would be the same of like, please register now. Kelsey?
I think, and Joaquin can speak for himself, but I think the idea is this line, let's see. Oh, scroll up to the where's like the bit with like the pre-registered part? I just read it. Priority will be like given to.
Oh, I had typed that while Joaquin was speaking and then deleted it because I had
Okay, then never mind.
misunderstood Joaquin originally.
Got it. Never mind.
You could throw in a line that has something to the effect of, if you're giving the spiel at the top of a meeting, which I think is appropriate and fine, you could say you have from now until item C or whatever it is, sign up public comment. And then at that time, I or whomever is chair will give another spiel about, say 80 folks, say it's a special meeting and 80 people sign up, but 120 want to give a comment. Well, I'd probably exercise my discretion and not have those 40 extra people give comment, potentially. But that needs to be made clear and explicit at the time that public comment rolls around. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Yes.
I usually rely on cues in person, but I can't see everybody, so. I often do not make sense, so please tell me if I'm going awry.
Alana, I think that all sounds good. I'm just curious how that's gonna work via Zoom. Just because I don't know how we're gonna differentiate between someone who signed up before we announced public comment and after. Like, does that make sense?
It does. I think that it would be simplified if we could turn on the chat for these meetings and say like, please message the facilitator if you would like to give public comment. Because that's the other, usually when I'm in other public meetings, that's how it's handled. Or it's required pre-registered. Kelsey?
I think we would go off of the pre-registration. So like they would pre-register and then we would have like a list of those folks. And then we would have like online or in person. And then if people are like, oh shoot, I didn't pre-register, I'm gonna go ahead and raise my hand to get on that list.
So we could say, virtual attendees, please raise your hand now if you would like to be registered for a public comment, and then someone would just jot down those names.
Yeah, like if you did not pre-register, please raise your hand now or please raise your hand at the beginning of the public comment meeting, or no, by that deadline. And you will be added to the speakers list or whatever.
If I may, I could build on it by noting that folks at staff council always ask for clarity during the pre-registration of what will your Zoom name be when you arrive in the Zoom, and what will the email address be that you're going to use that night, because they use that for a matching. I think sometimes there's challenges though, because people might shift gears.
Yeah.
But that's one way that they try to do it. I might add a related question, which is if the commission's going to want to consider predetermining limited time slots. And that might be something that the commission decides at the time of designing or creating a special meeting is, are you going to want to limit the number of slots that we accept for pre-registration or not? That would be a question.
I do lean towards leaving that discretion up to the convener of the meeting. Because I wouldn't want to say like, only 120 minutes divided by 3, however many people that is, 40 people. Like I wouldn't want to say off the gate, like, no. I'd like the person who's planning whatever the special meeting's about to be able to do that. And I'm seeing head nods.
Should we put maybe a line in there about like, the duration of public, or like the time limit on public comment, and the number of public comment is in the discretion of, I know you have one part that says like discretion of the chair, but I can't find it now because, you know, we were reading.
Yeah, so I just added 2 pieces in bold. So these are I'm gonna reread this with the new sentences we've added from the discussion, and then let's talk about if there's anything that we feel is still missing. So I'm calling the meeting of blank to order. The date is and the time is. I would like to welcome everyone to this meeting. The commission prioritizes public engagement. We have designated public comment period at this time in the agenda, where the public can share openly for up to 3 minutes. To ensure everyone gets a chance to speak, please ensure you are registered for public comment if you wish to. I feel like if you wish to speak might be repetitive. Please make sure you are registered for public comment. If you have not registered yet, please indicate on the sign-up sheet and location that you would like to speak. Virtual attendees, if you did not pre-register, please raise your hand now to be added to the speakers list. Virtual attendees, please do not lower your hand until you have spoken to keep track of your place in order. Registration for public comment registration for public comment will end at the start of the public comment agenda item and will be based on the chair's discretion. So I propose deleting this section that says virtual attendees, please do not lower your hand, because now we're just going to have them on a speakers list.
Yeah, that was gonna be mine.
Joaquin,
No, you got it.
perfect.
Well, I was gonna ask, how does that work? I mean, that only works for folks who have signed up during the meeting and not in advance of the meeting. And anyways, you got it.
Yeah, I think that when we make the speakers list based on people who raise their hands, we should just put a V next to the people who are virtual so that we can still follow the 3-3 order.
And the order will just go in terms of whoever is taking them down, puts them down. And that seems to be fair and fine.
Yeah, I mean, raising your hand will be still done we'll go through the pre-registered list first, and then people who raise their hands should be written down in order because it should still follow that. And then the people who signed up in person would also be in order of whoever got to the sheet first. So we would just go through the pre-registered first and then go to the new day of lists.
Alana, this is Gretchen. I wonder if the way this special meeting paragraph is reading to me, it would imply that people will get to speak if they raise their hand now to that 3rd line from the bottom, raise your hand now to be added to the speakers list. Yeah, you know what I'm getting at. I wonder what would happen if we were overwhelmed with 200 arrivers who all raised their hand. The chair may need discretion for a game time decision to limit public comment that evening. And so you might want to set that up in this language.
And that's kind of what I was getting at as well, is if like we wanted to add a line of like, it's up to the chair's discretion if we want to cut public comment to 2 minutes apiece instead of 3, or like something along those lines, because maybe we did get 100 people to sign up and we're also going to cut that down too. I don't know.
Right.
Those are just my thoughts.
I'm just wondering, something that gives you the opportunity and prepares people to know maybe that it won't be guaranteed.
Yeah, because the way it reads now, if I show up at that meeting and you don't let me talk for 3 minutes, I'm going to be very upset. I don't care if I'm 100th in line. I want to talk.
That's fair. What do we think about the addition of public comment is limited to X minutes on the agenda and will be at the chair's discretion? Kelsey?
Let me read what I have under, or if you want to pull up my procedures to draft, under time limit. So each member, oh gosh, Penny, wow. Each member of the public is allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to speak and may Only provide one comment per public comment portion or special meeting topic. The chair may adjust this time limit as necessary depending on the number of speakers and the agenda. And the total number of total time for public comment can be adjusted at the discretion of the chair.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna copy this actually and
Do
then
it to
edit
it.
a little bit to fit into. Okay. Yeah, okay. So each member of the board is allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to speak and may only provide one comment per. The chair may adjust this time limit as necessary depending on the number of speakers and the agenda, the total time for public comment.
And maybe you could add on the very end, like, and is not guaranteed or something like that.
yeah.
Well, we appreciate. Okay. Public comment cannot be guaranteed as
Yeah.
time limits. Ducks need to be put up. Okay. Sorry, my partner just walked by and I was like, get the ducks.
I love to see the ducks.
Okay, so I'm just gonna reread this part that we added. So registration for public comment will end at the start of the public comment agenda item and will be based on the chair's discretion. Each member of the public is allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to speak and may only provide one comment per topic. The chair may adjust this time limit as necessary depending on the numbers of speakers and the agenda. While we appreciate everyone's participation, public comment cannot be guaranteed as time limits are in place. I feel the least confident about the last part.
You could probably just end it as not guaranteed. That's just my personal. I don't know if anyone else has thoughts on that. I think that sounds good.
Agreed.
Do we still think it's worth saying up at the top that we have a designated public comment period where people can share openly for up to 3 minutes? Or should we just end it at time in the agenda? So just delete in this highlighted part where the public can share openly for up to 3 minutes.
You delete
Gretchen,
that.
Is are 3 minutes in our timeline? Gosh, is in our byline, Gretch? Is it 3 minutes?
Thank you. I don't remember what the new bylaws would say. It's been my experience, and I've been told by legal as recently as April that you are able to change that number. Like you can reduce to 2 minutes, you can reduce to 1 minute, you can grow to 5 minutes. That's as of last spring, that was allowed. I don't recall anything different in the bylaws.
Is it possible from a legal perspective to just put in a hold there? Kind of,
Yeah.
again, at the discretion of the chair sort of thing. Sorry, it's getting noisy in here. I'm gonna mute, but did you hear the question?
Yeah.
We did. So we did have this debate last time about like what the time should be, and we decided on like a suggested 3 minutes. So I just edited it to be like X. And then suggested is 3 minutes, but that way it can be edited at the discretion of the chair. Based on the meet-in time.
Yeah, my preference is 3 minutes, but I didn't want to make sure, I wanted to make sure we weren't running afoul of our bylaws, or if we were, that those would be amended or something, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes, from my read of the bylaws, I did not see anywhere where it said 3 minutes or a specific time.
I didn't either. I think it just said that we will allow public comment at regular schedule.
I have a have a suggestion. I think we should remove the sentence to ensure everyone gets a chance to speak. Please ensure you're registered for public comment, because we're also, some could interpret that sentence as guaranteed to speak as long as I register. But then later on, we're telling them anything that we're reserving the right and anything to cancel public comment should we choose. And then I would reword that sentence and anything that your cursor is still on, anything that just says, please indicate on the sign up sheet located in blank if you would like to provide comment. So you can delete if you have not registered yet.
I mean, I would like to keep the if you have not registered yet, because some people will have registered and proactive people might then go and register a second time. So I do want to have a
I would
discussion.
change that to if you have, please indicate on the sign up sheet located in blank location if you've not yet registered. I don't know, it just reads weird if you have not yet registered. If you've not registered yet, please indicate on the sign. I think it should be please indicate on the sign up sheet if you have not yet registered.
You could, I want it, that one sentence that you deleted before it, we could have left half of it, I guess, if we don't like how that reads, then you could say, please pre-register. And if you haven't, then sign up or something like that. I don't remember what was there before, sorry.
It's okay. I think this works. So I'm just gonna read this all again. So that Kelsey, actually, what's up?
So I think we can say something like, if you would like to make a public comment and have not registered, please sign up for public comment at blank. Because it's not a sign up sheet, because you say like, please indicate on the sign up sheet located blah 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 if you would like to make a comment or public comment, because they're not indicating that they want to make a public comment, they're signing up to make a public comment. So like if Joe Schmo wanted to not make a public comment, they wouldn't sign up. Does that make sense?
Okay, so if you would like to make a public comment and have not yet registered, please indicate on the sheet located in blank.
I think you can say, please, oh my gosh, please sign up on the, please sign up to make a public comment, or sign up on the public comment sheet thing.
Sign up on the public comment
Sheet thing.
register. Okay,
I
so
can certainly make and have available.
if you would like to make a public comment and have not yet registered, please sign up on the public comment registration sheet located in blank. Okay, cool. I'm just going to read this all one more time so we can digest it as a full unit. Okay, I am calling the blank meeting to order. The date is and the time is. I would like to welcome everyone to this meeting. The commission prioritizes public engagement. We have a designated public comment period at blank in the agenda. If you would like to make a public comment and have not yet registered, please sign up on the public comment registration sheet located in location. Virtual attendees, if you did not pre-register, please raise your hand now to be added to the speakers list. Registration for public comment will end at the start of the public comment agenda item and will be based on the chair's discretion. Each member of the public is allowed a maximum of X minutes to speak and may only provide one comment per topic. The chair may adjust this time limit as necessary, dependent on the number of speakers and the agenda. While we appreciate everyone's participation, public comment cannot be guaranteed.
I think that sounds good. I have one suggestion, and it's that we call it the public comment registration sheet in one area, and then we call it a speakers list in the other. Do we want to just call it a speakers list?
Yes, because this says public comment too many times for my brain.
Yeah. We just say speakers list, or yeah.
Mhm. Okay, Kelsey.
And then I think the only other thing that I have is I think we can delete the I always lose where I was reading. We can delete the based on the chair's discretion because like the next sentence talks about the chair's discretion. Um, yeah.
Okay, good points, good points. Okay.
Alana, this is Gretchen. This might be hair splitting, but the very last phrase, public comment cannot be guaranteed, to that phrase, it's occurring to me that overall, we will be providing public comment opportunity, but just not for each individual. So I'm wondering about a public comment opportunity cannot be guaranteed for each interested individual. Just to be, I mean, that's probably overkill, but
No, I think that sounds good.
Should we add due to time constraints at this point? So that way we're like justifying instead of just like making people mad at the beginning.
yeah, well, I can't think of another reason why you'd block public comment. So I think so. It's basically due to capacity of the commission. You can't be there all week, you know.
Okay, so while we appreciate everyone's participation, a public comment opportunity cannot be guaranteed for each individual due to time constraints.
I think that sounds good.
Good flag. Thanks, Gretchen. Okay, we've
Also,
got,
should we change, instead of you saying if you would like, so the sentence, if you would like to make a public comment, I think we should use if you would like to provide a public comment.
okay,
And then I think you should, no, I'm kidding.
Right, I'm just kidding.
okay. Are we ready to move on? Going once, going twice. Sold. Okay. So then we have 9 minutes left. Let's see, what's the rest of this agenda? Okay, so we do need, I'm gonna say 5 minutes for us to talk about the meeting conflict. Does anyone have any remarks or announcements they want to give?
I did 3 procedures. Gretchen will send them out later. I was too close to the meeting, so I didn't want to like, be like, hey, look at this really quick.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
There are still procedures that have not been signed up for. I will take another look at it and maybe sign up for more, but I would love to encourage other people to sign up as well, especially if you have not drafted any or only one. Okay, great. So, couple minutes to go over this. So agendas for any meeting of the commission should include a time for each topic, the time each topic will start, and dedicated time for each item. Below is an example of what the agenda should look like, but the timing will be decided by the chair and staff. So this is just like a copy and paste of one of our agendas that we had. And so all I did is I added the time that that agenda item will start, which, you know, our meeting started at 6 p.m. And then I'd say that it would take about 10 minutes. The 10 minutes is just something I made up and not actually accurate to the things on this agenda item, but that would be what the chair and staff would figure out. So that would be the only updates to our agendas. I think that this is important because it holds the commission accountable to a time frame so that we do address the items that we need to address in a timely manner. And it also provides an extra level of transparency for the public. If they want to join for only a specific topic or so forth, it makes it easier for them. Do we have any comments or questions about these additions?
I personally don't like the times listed for each of the individual agenda items because I feel like sometimes, you know, depending on, you know, the agenda and everything, you know, some sections and everything might run longer. You know, like we have, you know, bias crime updates, you know, 15 minutes, but what if there's, you know, like a significant, you know, occurrence, and then we want to dive into that a little deeper, and then now we're, you know, kind of I feel like putting the time on here and then we pigeonhole ourselves as a commission. In that, okay, well, I've got to finish talking about, community engagement updates within 3 minutes. And then it doesn't provide any room for expansion. I also I also look at other, like the city council, agenda, for example, I mean, they don't put timeframes on there or anything, so they can allow themselves that time for discussion.
Joaquin?
Yeah, I think I really appreciate the intention behind it. I'm just wondering, I think I have two reactions about it. One is if it's necessary. I mean, rare is the time we go over, especially for general meetings, and rare is the time where we don't get to agenda items. That to me doesn't really seem to be a problem. One, it certainly has been not a problem, but it has happened in committee meetings, but even that is rare. And two, I don't know. I come from a culture where that's just not what we do. I don't know. I'm asserting myself. It's just very Western to me. They're gonna have 3 minutes to do this and 10 minutes to do that and 5 minutes to do that. And what happens if what if there's either a particularly painful or bias incident that the sergeant shares or something that we really want to go into deep and it exceeds 10 minutes or 5 minutes. I mean, it's just, I know where it's coming from, Ilana, but I wonder if this is the best way to go about addressing the things that I think you might be interested in addressing. That's my general reaction. I wouldn't, this is not a necessary addition to me.
Yeah, that's fair. Any other feedback?
I think I am in agreement with both Robert and Joaquin, but I also think too it's really going to limit public comment, because if I'm looking at that, that's 3 people, and there have been meetings that I've been to that we've had 6, if not more. So it's just or we have none. So then now we're 10 minutes ahead. So I don't know. I love a schedule, but I like it when we can stick to it, and I don't think that we'll be able to stick to it, which is just going to look poorly on us if I'm being honest.
I'd also argue too that, I mean, it's the chair's responsibility and everything to help control the tempo of the meeting, and that operation tempo. And so, the chair, I think, should also be looking at, prior to the agenda and everything, like, okay, that person's setting the agenda, but then even if we get there and thinks, hey, I think, I think maybe we've been out way more than we can chew, in public comment, then that's when, the motion to amend, the consent calendar comes in to then take off items that would then provide more time elsewhere. And so, yeah. All that.
Sounds like we don't think we need a procedure on agenda format, and we're cool with the agendas as is.
I think so, yeah. I guess that's what we're saying.
I think I like the idea of like a suggested format, but not necessarily the time.
Okay.
I guess while we're talking about agenda formatting, I've always disliked that commissioner remarks and everything come at the very end of the meeting. But like I kind of like it, city council and everything. I mean, the body has a chance to kind of provide their comment at the front, and I kind of hate the fact that we're waiting until the very end. And I think that kind of also maybe limits some commissioners from wanting to say what they might want to say at that meeting, given specific time constraints. So I would, if we looked at reformatting agendas, I would look at front loading.
Okay, sounds good. I'll redraft that then. Okay, great. So we got 2 minutes. We have a conflict on December 23rd. It's like right before the holiday. Is there another conflict other than it being right before the holiday?
No, and I wondered, would the group, and I won't be here December 23rd. So I wondered, your next meeting is December 9th. would you like to move the meeting of the 23rd to the 16th? So then maybe you're meeting December 9th and December 16th, and then finishing for the calendar year? I thought I'd propose that.
So I am not available the evening of December 16th.
I say we meet on December 9th and then we table the rest of our discussions until the 2025 calendar year.
I can support this idea as long as we have someone registered to draft every single procedure and we come into the new year with all of those drafts complete. Because I would like this task force to wrap up
They're giving us.
the end of January, if possible.
I love that a lot.
So no pressure, Joaquin and Robert, but kind of a little pressure to sign up.
Can we like look through real quick? And I know we have 1 minute about what hasn't been signed up because I'm wondering if some of these have been like drafted in like different formats. So like guest procedures and presentation procedures, tracking of bias complaints, listening session, meeting to center public input before recommendations or actions taken. How would a listening session work? I feel like this is kind of that.
Yeah, I think we only have 2 left, right? Or it's 3.
Yeah, I guess that one. So, okay, I popped it up. So guest procedures and presentation procedures. Is that, I just added my name because I was like, that's kind of what I drafted. Do we agree that between Kelsey and mine's rules that that's pretty much been done?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna put our names.
Robert and Joaquin don't have time. I can do the other 2.
I was just gonna volunteer to do tracking the bias complaints. We can,
That sounds great.
okay.
So I'll do listening session.
I feel like we've covered listening sessions.
I would agree.
You did
Yeah, I
it.
can, I can make something up.
Okay. See where you think we covered it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I can look and see if there's
There's
anything
gaps.
missing. Like, yeah, that sounds
And
good.
I went ahead and I just linked my draft so like you can view it.
Oh, good.
So if we want to come to the next meeting with like, oh, I saw this, it needs to be edited, then we can check it off. But I think, yeah.
Are we gonna run these through like one central person to make sure language is consistent? And I don't say that because I'm
Yeah.
offering to volunteer. From my would making a suggestion is say that, but I just think that we should. People have different writing styles. I just didn't know if we were gonna run that through like legal department to, finalize and.
Yeah,
final
if you
draft.
like, that could be the post December 9th task. Look for consistency and run by legal.
Yeah, I think there's gonna
Yeah,
have to
that would be great.
consistency in formatting too, because mine is wildly different than y'all's. So, not on purpose, but just because it is.
Yeah,
Um,
'cause we all have our styles. I think that's great.
I have a question.
Send it out.
Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, Joaquin's what up?
Have we talked about, so I recognize I missed the last meeting or 2, but have we talked about, how to determine how many special meetings there need to be for a topic?
No.
Because that was an area that was too organic for my taste last time. I mean, it worked out fine, but we ended up having 3 meetings and but there was no, I mean, there was intention behind that, but there was no guide to that. So I think I would, if I were someone 5-10 years from now or 2 years, whenever none of us are here, living but not on the commission, I would like guidance on that. So
We
that's just,
could,
I'm happy to think about that and write something about that, but I just wanted to check in to see if that's been discussed.
it has not been discussed. I'm just gonna share my first thought and then we can end this meeting because we're already over time. We could add that to the like announcement of like the commission may hold future meetings on this topic, but it will be limited to people who have registered today. Because if we're holding that space, the people who want to talk are going to show up, and we shouldn't continue to let other groups who might bring in I've seen where people bring in like people from outside of the state even to testify on a topic because they had multiple weeks to figure it out. So I would just want to caution against being able to do that. Anywho, we will continue this discussion December 9th. Is there any business we need to get to before I close this meeting? No. Okay, great. Thank you everyone for all of your work on this and all of the feedback. I really appreciate you all, and I will see you guys next on December 9th.
Bye.
Bye.
There you go.
Joaquin, have a good time in Mexico.
Have fun.